What's up, guys? I'm back with another video. Obviously, I did not intend to make a rant video today. I just wanted to get something out there before I started, giving record predictions, and it turned into a 10-minute video, and I didn't want to make it, I didn't want to make a single video that's 25, 30 minutes long. So I am doing the Bears video today as I said I would. But before we get into it, if you appreciate the content, if you're new to the channel and are enjoying watching this without sports on right now, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with an NFL or Lions fan. But with that being said, let's actually get into the Bears, the week 1 matchup against the Bears this time. So, obviously, as I said, the Detroit Lions do play the Chicago Bears in week 1. Last year, we played at Detroit for week 1, so we opened the season at home. Last year, when the Bears played at Detroit, the final score was 24-20, and it was a loss for the Detroit Lions. Some of the significant players that did not play in that game were Matthew Stafford, Kerryon Johnson, Deshaun Hand, Tracy Walker, Miles Killebrew, Damon Harrison, Rashawn Melvin, and Jamal Agnew. Those are 7 starting players. Our starting quarterback, our starting running back, our starting defensive tackle, another starting defensive lineman, a starting cornerback, a starting punt returner, and a starting gunner, and a starting safety. So we had a lot of guys not play in that game, and the Lions still competed and fought down to the final, couple minutes of the game. The final offensive drive for the Detroit Lions was still, they still had a chance to go down and win the game. Some key injuries for the Bears. The only one that didn't play was Isaiah Irving, who was not a starter for the Detroit Lions. However, Prince Amukamara did leave midway through the game with an injury. So I thought that would be fair to mention. The Bears were not 100% healthy, but they were much healthier than the Detroit Lions. They had their starting, running back and quarterback and, defensive players. The Lions did not, and the Lions still almost beat the Bears. Some key additions this year for the Detroit Lions would be Desmond Trufant, Jeffrey Okudah, Jamie Collins, Danny Shelton, Duron Harmon, and DeAndre Swift. These are all guys that are going to come in week 1 and contribute to the, Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears. These are guys that are going to play for the Detroit Lions. They're going to start. They're going to have a major impact for the Lions, and they're going, not solely, but they're going to help determine the outcome of the game. Obviously, the Lions could not finish last year, and that's why they brought in a lot of veterans. Desmond Trufant was kind of to replace Darius Slay. Jeffrey Okudah he's going to be the second corner, but he's going to be much better than what Rashawn Melvin was last year. Jamie Collins is going to be a veteran presence in the linebacking core, which is something we haven't had since Jarrad Davis has been here. Jarrad Davis started day 1 and never really had that mentor to help him transition to the NFL. And we have Jahlani Tavai, who's also a young guy. So the Lions brought in a veteran to help teach and, help the younger guys learn, as well as have an impact for today. Danny Shelton, who's going to take over that snacks role, another veteran. Duron Harmon, another veteran in the safety room, somebody that's going to help. He's going to communicate. One of the biggest problems on the Lions defense last year, and one of the reasons we couldn't finish, is we did not communicate as a defense. We had a lot of young guys after we traded Quandre Diggs. Will Harris was a rookie. Tracy Walker, when he was playing, is only in his 2nd year, and only his 1st year starting. Our starting safeties were very young. They're not experienced in the NFL, and they were not communicating like NFL veterans. So that's why we went out and got Duron Harmon. He's going to communicate in the back. He's going to keep everything situated. He's going to make sure that everybody's communicating. Everybody knows what their job is and that they're doing it to their maximum potential. And then DeAndre Swift is obviously another running back weapon, just in case Kerryon Johnson does happen to get hurt again, or just a rotational guy to keep Kerryon and Bo Scarborough fresh. Some of the key additions for the Chicago Bears are Robert Quinn, Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet, Jalen Johnson, and Nick Foles. Obviously, nobody knows if Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky are going to start next year from the Chicago Bears in week 1. If I had to make a guess, I think it'll be Nick Foles. I think Nick Foles is a much better quarterback than Mitchell Trubisky, but I think that the Chicago Bears coaching staff is, I think that they really like Mitchell Trubisky. I think that they are going to start him to a fault. I think that, they are biased towards him, and I think, that could be a reason that he starts next year. But if it is truly a competition between quarterbacks, I think Nick Foles will win it. I think he is the better quarterback. Robert Quinn, A veteran, had a very good season last year. This was really their only huge pickup that I think is going to be in free agency that's going to have a huge impact for them. They let go of Leonard Floyd so they could pick this guy up. This guy's a veteran. I believe he had 11 and a half sacks last season. So obviously very good, very productive season for the Cowboys, and the Bears brought him in trying to pair him with Khalil Mack to get an elite pass rush again. Jimmy Graham is out of his prime. I don't think this was a good signing, especially when you drafted tight end Cole Kmet out of Notre Dame in the second round. Their first pick was a tight end right after they paid Jimmy Graham big money. So I think Jimmy Graham will be on the field, but I don't think this was a good signing for them. I don't think he's going to be a huge factor in this game. Jalen Johnson, I think, is going to replace Prince Amukamara, who left in free agency, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But obviously, you don't know. He was a second-round rookie. There were talks that he could go late in the first, so he's obviously very talented, but you never know as a rookie coming into the NFL how they're going to transition. And we do know what Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones and Danny Amendola and Geronimo Allison are going to do for us, just as a receiving core. Based on who we brought in versus who the Bears brought in, I think that we won that. I think we brought in more players that are going to contribute and help to the Detroit Lions, help us improve to be a better football team next year. And I think that the Bears brought in a couple good pieces, but I don't think they brought in as many contributors and as many guys that are going to help the Detroit, or that are going to help the Chicago Bears as much as the Detroit Lions did. Some of the key departures for the Detroit Lions would be Damon Harrison, Darius Slay, A'Shawn Robinson, and Graham Glasgow. Obviously, all four starters. Damon Harrison was not playing very well last year, and I think Danny Shelton will play better than what Harrison played as last year. Darius Slay is the biggest loss for the Detroit Lions. He was obviously a Pro Bowler and All-Pro, one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL, and he just was not happy with Matt Patricia. He did not want to be in Detroit, so we got him out of here. He was kind of being a locker room cancer a little bit with Matt Patricia, and Matt Patricia did not want to deal with it, so he sent him to Philadelphia. I think that our number one corner did get weaker without Darius Slay, but I think overall in this offseason, our cornerback room got better with the addition of Trufant and Jeffrey Okudah. I think that the Lions' secondary will be better than it was last year, even with the loss of Darius Slay. A'Shawn Robinson was a depth of defensive tackle. He rotated with Snacks Harrison, and he was a good player for the Detroit Lions, but was never an elite. He was never really a full-time starter. I think that we can definitely replace him with a Nick Williams or even maybe a John Pennicini. And then the last guy, Graham Glasgow, was a starting guard, but I think that we can definitely replace him with Jonah Jackson. I think that he could fill in, and I don't think he'll be as good as Glasgow, but I think that he'll be serviceable and he'll be a good guard in the NFL. Key losses for the Chicago Bears are Nick Kwiatkowski, a linebacker that was, kind of their coverage guy. He matched up against TJ Hawkinson a lot. He was pretty good in coverage for the Chicago Bears, and he got pretty good money to, I believe, go to Las Vegas. Nick Williams, who was a pass rusher last year for them, had 6 sacks. He came to the Detroit Lions, and I think that he'll be a rotational guy for the Lions. Clinton Dix left from Chicago and I believe went to Dallas. He was their starting safety. He was one of their leaders in the back end. Obviously they still have Eddie Jackson, but I don't think that they're going to be able to replace Clinton Dix with, anybody that they brought in. Prince Amukamara left. He was a NFL veteran. He got burned a couple times by Kenny Galladay. He didn't have, I didn't watch the Bears a ton, but when we played him, he did not have great games. And I think that Jalen Johnson will do a good job replacing him. So they did a good job replacing that. And then Leonard Floyd left. I believe he was a first-round pick out of Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago. They kind of replaced him with Robert Quinn. So if Robert Quinn can have a year like he had last year, I think that that'll be a good replacement. Overall, I think that the Detroit Lions filled in their losses better than the Chicago Bears. We had a lot more cap space to go out and get depth players, go out and get starters, even. And the Chicago Bears really didn't have a ton of cap space. But I think they did go with what they had. I just think the Lions had more of an opportunity to make splashes, to fill in roster holes better than the Chicago Bears, and I think that they did that. My score prediction, I think the Lions will win this game by 2 scores. I think it'll be 24-10. I think that Matt Patricia has something scheming. I think that he's going to come out week one with something that, nobody has seen before from the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to catch the Bears off guard. And even if the Detroit Lions offense can't score a ton, they showed that they can. They obviously scored 24 last year on the Bears, or they scored 20 on the Bears last year, and they scored 10, I believe, with the other, in the other game. So even if they can't score a lot, I think that the defense will come out and stop, either Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky. I think that they're going to, not have a good game against our defense. I think Patricia is going to have a plan to shut down the Bears. I think the Lions will get off to a fast start. I think we will start 1-0 against a division rival. That's kind of my prediction. I think the Lions start off 1-0. I think a lot of people have the Lions starting 1-0. I believe they're 6.5-point favorites going into week one. And I think that that's pretty fair. I think that the Lions will have, a 2-possession lead when the clock hits 0. I think that they're going to dominate the game. They're going to drain the clock, and they're going to stop people on, they're going to stop the Bears on defense. But that's kind of my opinion. That's what I think is going to happen. Obviously, nobody knows. If you disagree with me, if you think the Bears are going to win, let me know down in the comments. I would appreciate, somebody else's point of view. Tell me why you think the Bears could win. If the Bears are going to win, if you think that the Bears are going to win, let me know why. I'd love to hear from people, and I'd love to get, different opinions. But that is all I have for today. If there is Lions news before tomorrow, I will make that video. I will update and inform everybody. If not, I will be back tomorrow with probably the Green Bay Packers prediction video. So if you are excited for that, stay tuned. Subscribe, turn notifications on so you know when that video comes out so you can be the first one to see it. But with that being said, that's all I have for today. I will see everybody tomorrow, or if there's Lions news today, I'll see everybody later. But if not, I will see everybody tomorrow. Bye, guys.